Cheats may be coming to Orion Drift, and here's everything I found out. First of all, disclaimer, I do not support cheats. This is for entertainment purposes. Cheats are bannable, and I will talk about this more later, or you can read what's on the screen. Also, enable YouTube subtitles. So, over the last few days, a friend has told me, and I have myself seen on TikTok and other places, that some people apparently have hacks in Orion Drift. Well, can Orion Drift even have mods? Now I say mods because there's a difference between mods and cheats. A mod is an add-on you add onto a game or app, usually unharmful, while cheats are mods that add things onto a game or app, but this time they're harmful for other people. They can give you unfair advantages over other people. But first of all, Orion Drift is built on the Unreal Engine 5 engine. This means that Gorilla Tag mods will not work, because most other VR games are built using Unity, which makes Orion Drift better in one way: no mods. There's a very tiny community of modders for Unreal Engine XR games, because there are pretty much barely, if any, Unreal Engine based VR games other than Orion Drift. However, on the Unity, we have Gorilla Tag, Animal Company, etc. I think it's time we talk about how large the Gorilla Tag cheating scene is. Now, cheating in Gorilla Tag really peaked in 2022-2023, where there were only like 1 to 3 developers on the game. That's when there was something called player tracking, and you think that cheats are just silly fun things. Well, actually, if you were in a lobby with a hacker in Gorilla Tag, they could vibrate your controllers until the batteries die, spawn rigs, other models for the entire lobby, abuse cosmetics, make you invisible, crash your game, kick you from the lobby, and some other things. But some people even reported getting banned, although I doubt it's possible, since even the developers confirmed that was just a rumor. But let's talk a bit technically. How did this mods thing in Gorilla Tag even work? Well, the game was available on Steam, so people usually used Unity decompilers and pretty much just opened the Unity project for Gorilla Tag, where they checked out everything, how it worked, and then added the DLL files to the game, which added cheats. Also keep in mind that Unity has a huge VR modding scene with tools like BepInEx or Melon Loader, but I won't be going over that in detail. However, Orion Drift is not available on PC, and it is, although possible, really hard to decrypt and decompile an APK game like Orion Drift. APK being the file format for Android games, and if you didn't know, Quest headsets run on Android. I'll be talking about APKs a lot, and so you know, when I say modded APK, I mean there's a version of the game that has cheats or some other mods. But don't get me wrong, games like Beat Saber have had standalone modding for years, so it is far from impossible. However, this is a multiplayer game, and there were probably precautions put, and we'll talk about them in just a second, and also how easy it is to bypass the precautions. So Unreal Engine games are quite hard to mod, especially VR ones, since there are no existing frameworks, no mod community, and they require C++ reverse engineering. Now, even possible to really decrypt and decompile a game from a Quest? Yes, actually, but really hard, especially for a multiplayer game like Orion Drift. Now, I'm not really a huge nerd on this topic, but let me try to explain this. APKs are compiled and often obfuscated, making the code quite hard to read. But also, games from the Quest store are signed, meaning if you modify the APK, it won't run unless you re-sign it, which breaks official verification and usually gets blocked by the game. Usually. But even if someone bypassed that, they still have to reverse engineer game logic, bypass anti-cheat if it exists, and trick the backend, like Mothership, which we will talk about later, into accepting this fake data. So yes, it's possible, but it's really time consuming. However, everyone must realize that if Orion Drift ever releases on PC VR, we will see a huge storm of cheaters as it happened in Gorilla Tag, since there will potentially be something called DLL injection, which Gorilla Tag cheaters use. And this by itself is quite sad, because not releasing a PC VR version just because there will be cheaters made quite a lot of people annoyed. And fair enough, this is not releasing a game to an entire audience of people as a precaution. And is it actually worth it? Let me know in the comments if you think this is fair or not. Now, I want to mention that no matter what, do not install Orion Drift mods, cheats, hacks, modified APKs, even if you don't plan to use them or they don't work. First of all, there's a risk of getting permanently banned. Second, quite often actually when people were making cheats for Gorilla Tag, they added their own little twists. So people who installed the mods were met with something different. IP grabbers, location grabbers, viruses, and other things. Let alone the fact that this isn't your PC, this is your VR headset, which could be bricked if some bad actors decided to abuse how gullible people are. So every time you're installing some APK not from the Quest store, there's a non-zero chance it might be a Trojan. Also, never share a cheat or something like stolen assets. Another accident can set DMCA takedowns or like a pipe bomb to your house, so just don't do it. But there is a little thing called EA security, where people check how the game could be hacked and immediately notify the developers. So all of this aside, what cheats even are there? Well, some people mention that they have modified APKs with cheats for Orion Drift, but the question is, are they lying? Is any of this true? Well, I found out. By the way, if you're interested, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you. Alright, rumor A. All APKs are getting blocked by Orion Drift's mothership. Now, mothership is basically Orion Drift's playfab, aka their backend, where all player data, cosmetics, and authentication is stored. But what does that even mean? Well, it's the fact that when you launch the game, you won't get past the boot up screen if you have some modified version of the game, aka a cheated APK. Now, this has been said by a few people, but there's actually no way to confirm nor deny this without speaking to someone who has a cheated APK. Rumor B. I've seen this video pop up multiple times through various sources. This video shows a person with a rainbow name in-game moving without even touching their hands like they were on PC. Well, let's debunk this. So this is actually Polar, the person from EA Security I was talking about, who's doing these checks to help make the game better. So first up, I talked to one person who is a self-proclaimed Android modder, and although he did not have an actual build, he did shed light on the fact that one of his friends managed to do something with the mothership API. So maybe if you have a hacked APK, someone would be able to get past the boot up screen, which is important if you want to, well, cheat. And also, as someone mentioned, removing something like an anti-cheat is really easy if you already have a modded APK. But is there anyone who actually had a hacked build? Well, I dug deeper and found only 2 people who claimed they had an APK. And after talking to one of them, he led me to a certain VR modding server. Now I will not be sharing its name. And in there was something close to a gold mine. Years gathered of ripped and stolen assets. But there was nothing, and I mean actually nothing close to cheats or APKs for Orion Drift. And the server was actually quite big, and it surprised me that everyone who was actually somewhat aware of how to mod games said that Orion Drift is completely impossible to mod. And this led me into a huge game of cat and mouse, with people saying that they have cheated APKs, and then actual modders saying that it is impossible to do it. So considering everything I said about Unreal Engine and Quest APKs, basically I have no idea. People stopped responding, and after all of this, I found zero actual proof of any cheats other than this video, which wasn't even a cheater. Also, do not bother the developers about anything I said, please. It's none of their fault. They're trying to do everything possible to protect their game. Go give them some love. Thank you. Moral of the story: unless Orion Drift is coming to PC, I don't think cheats are coming. Not anytime soon. But let's actually hope that Orion Drift won't become the next Gorilla Tag, being full of cheaters who partially ruin the game for everyone. That's it. Bye.